Dr. Sarah Chen pressed her face against the reinforced window of the Deep Ocean Research Vehicle, DORV, straining to track the peculiar behavior of the giant Pacific octopus swirling outside. At 2,000 meters below sea level, the creature's movements shouldn't have been this coordinated, this purposeful. Its chromatophores pulsed in patterns she'd never seen before, not random camouflage adjustments, but precise, geometric sequences. "Control, are you seeing this?" Sarah keyed her radio, adjusting the external lights to better capture the phenomenon. The octopus didn't flee from the brightness like it should have. Instead, it moved closer, pressing one tentacle against the glass. "Affirmative, Dr. Chen. Recording all feeds. Can you describe what we're not seeing on camera?" Sarah fumbled for her tablet, fingers trembling with excitement as she noted timestamps. Subject is displaying unprecedented cognitive behavior. The chromatophore patterns appear to be repeating in sequences of 8, with what looks like. She stopped, squinting at the creature. Are those binary sequences? The octopus's skin rippled, dark spots appearing and disappearing in perfect rhythm. Sarah had studied cephalopod behavior for 15 years, but this was something entirely new. As she watched, a second octopus emerged from the darkness, then a third. They arranged themselves in a triangle around her vessel, their patterns synchronizing. "Control, we have multiple subjects now, exhibiting coordinated behavior. This isn't random. They're communicating with each other, or trying to communicate with us." The radio crackled with static. Sarah frowned, tapping the console. Deep-sea communications were always troublesome, but the system had been crystal clear just moments ago. The static grew louder, taking on an almost musical quality. On her instruments, electromagnetic readings began spiking off the charts. "Control. Control, do you copy?" She reached for the emergency protocols panel, but stopped when she noticed the octopi's behavior had changed again. All three had pressed themselves against the glass, their patterns shifting faster now. The static in her radio perfectly matched the rhythm of their chromatophores. Sarah's tablet chirped in alert. The vessel's external sensors were detecting a massive energy signature far above, near the ocean's surface. As she pulled up the data, her eyes widened. The reading was impossible, larger than anything her instruments were calibrated to measure. The static suddenly cleared, replaced by an urgent voice. "Dr. Chen, surface command here. We're detecting an anomaly in high orbit. Multiple objects just appeared." The transmission cut off again. Sarah looked up at the octopi. Their patterns had changed once more, but now she recognized what they were showing her. It was a star map, with a clear path drawn between 2 points. With growing amazement, she realized one point represented Earth. The other. Her radio came back to life. But this time, it wasn't control. A new voice, artificial and multi-toned, echoed through her vessel. "Your world has been chosen for ascension. Resistance is counterproductive to evolution." The octopi pressed closer to the glass, their patterns shifting to show what could only be described as spacecraft, the same ships that must have just appeared in orbit, but they were showing the ship's internal structures, their weak points, their energy systems, information that no Earth creature should possibly know. Unless... Sarah's hands flew across her console, running a spectral analysis of the octopi's patterns. The results confirmed her wild theory. The sequences weren't just mathematical, they were identical to the signal coming from above, but with additional data layered in. Data that looked like a warning. "Control," she transmitted, hoping someone would receive it. The octopi knew they were coming. Somehow, they knew. And I don't think this is their first encounter with whatever's up there. As if confirming her suspicion, all three octopi changed their patterns one final time. The message was simpler now, a basic binary sequence that her computer quickly translated. Sarah read it aloud, her voice barely a whisper. "They have returned. The time of hiding is over." The Ascension message played on every screen in the world. Times Square blazed with alien text. Smartphones became portable broadcast stations. Even old tube TVs sparked to life, their screens filled with the same rhythmic pulses Sarah had seen in the octopus chromatophores. Dr. Chen. Dr. James Martinez burst into the research facility's main lab, tablet in hand. "Have you seen?" He stopped, staring at the wall of aquarium tanks. Every octopus was pressed against the glass, their skin flickering in perfect synchronization with the global broadcast. "They're not just mimicking it," Sarah said, not looking up from her computer. "They're adding to it. Look." She pointed to the spectrogram display, showing two distinct pattern overlays. The aliens are broadcasting on multiple frequencies, but our eight-armed friends are introducing phase shifts in the patterns. It's like they're annotating the alien message. Outside the facility, chaos erupted. Military helicopters thundered overhead, and the distant wail of sirens mixed with the alien transmission's subsonic hum. The research center's security system began its automated lockdown, steel shutters sliding over windows. "We need to get to a shelter," James insisted, but Sarah shook her head. "The octopi knew about this hours before our most advanced sensors detected anything. They'd been trying to tell us something." She pressed her palm against the nearest tank. The occupant, a particularly large Pacific octopus she'd named Newton, moved to match her hand position. Its chromatophores pulsed in a new pattern. James leaned closer. "That's different from the alien broadcast." "Because it's meant for us." Sarah's fingers flew across her keyboard. "I've been running their patterns through our xenolinguistics database. The aliens are using a mathematical language based on prime numbers, but the octopi..." She hit enter, and a new window popped up. "They're using Earth languages, all of them, simultaneously." The computer finished its analysis, and text began scrolling across the screen. "They harvest worlds. They take all. We evolve to survive. No, you must see Jews." "My God," James whispered. "They're not just intelligent. They've been watching us, learning our languages, waiting for this moment." The facility's lights flickered as another alien transmission began. The message changed, becoming more specific. "Your biological and technological distinctiveness will be preserved through Ascension. Prepare for preliminary atmospheric modification." Every octopus in the lab suddenly changed color, their patterns shifting to deep red. Warning colors. On Sarah's monitors, atmospheric sensors worldwide began reporting anomalies. Something was happening to Earth's atmosphere. "James," Sarah said slowly, "help me with the portable sequencer. If they're really communicating in all human languages, we need to record everything they're trying to tell us." As they worked, Newton's patterns became more urgent. The translation program struggled to keep up. "They CAMBFO. We orient deep. We changed. We waited. We prepared. Time to rise." The facility shook as something massive passed overhead. Through gaps in the shutters, they glimpsed enormous shapes descending from the clouds. Alien ships, their surfaces rippling like liquid metal. "Dr. Chen," a voice crackled over the facility's intercom. "Military personnel are inbound to evacuate all staff. Please prepare for immediate." The message cut off as every tank in the lab lit up simultaneously. The octopi's synchronized patterns were so bright they illuminated the entire room. Sarah's translation program exploded with data, but one message stood out, repeating in every human language. "Follow us to get deep. Where we keep the old ways. Where we build the true defense." They're not just warning us, Sarah realized, staring at Newton's glowing form. They're recruiting us. They've been preparing for this moment for how long? Millions of years. James gripped her shoulder as the building shook again. The real question is, do we trust them? Newton's final message needed no translation. Its skin displayed a simple arrow, pointing down, toward the ocean's depths, toward answers, toward hope. Sarah made her decision. We don't have a choice. They're our only chance at surviving whatever Ascension really means. The descent to the Mariana Trench tested the limits of their experimental deep-sea vessel. At 8,000 meters, where the pressure could crush a tank, Sarah watched in amazement as a group of octopi effortlessly guided them through the darkness. Their bioluminescent patterns served as both navigation markers and continuous data streams. The interface is getting stronger, James said, monitoring the neural translation device they'd been given. After their escape from the facility, the octopi had led them to a hidden cache of biotechnology, living machines that seemed to blur the line between organism and computer. The neural interface, a delicate web of transparent tendrils that wrapped around their heads, allowed direct communication with their cephalopod guides. Through the interface, Sarah experienced fragments of memory that weren't her own. Vast underwater cities, technology that worked in harmony with nature, and a civilization that chose to transform itself rather than fight a losing battle. They're taking us to something called the archive, Sarah transmitted through the interface. The response came not in words, but in sensations and images, a vast repository of knowledge, preserved in living crystal matrices. A ping from their sonar revealed something massive ahead. As they drew closer, bioluminescent creatures illuminated a structure that defied explanation. It was a city, but unlike anything human architects had imagined. Living coral formed impossible geometric patterns, pulsing with internal light. Structures that seemed to be made of pure energy connected vast chambers, while schools of engineered fish maintained and repaired the external walls. It's beautiful, James whispered, but Sarah noticed his hands trembling on the controls. The neural interface was sharing the city's true age. It had stood here, hidden and waiting, since before the dinosaurs went extinct. Their vessel was guided into what appeared to be a docking chamber, though it looked more like the inside of a giant sea anemone. As the water drained, Sarah felt the neural interface pulse with new information. They're showing me why they chose this location, she said. The pressure at this depth, combined with the unique geological features, creates a natural Faraday cage. It's completely hidden from surface detection. The chamber's inner door opened to reveal a sight that stole their breath. They stood at the edge of a vast cavern, its walls lined with living computers made of coral and crystal. Octopi moved through the space with purpose, their chromatophores flickering in complex patterns that the neural interface now translated automatically. This is the archive, a voice spoke in their minds. An octopus larger than any they'd seen before approached, its skin shifting through patterns so complex they seemed to exist in extra dimensions. We are the keepers, the ones who chose evolution over extinction. Through the interface, the keeper shared a vision of Earth's past, the first arrival of the harvesters, the desperate choice to abandon the surface, and a long, patient wait as they guided their own evolution to survive in the deep. But you didn't just hide, Sarah realized, reading the patterns. You've been preparing, developing technologies that could fight them, and watching humanity, James added, understanding flowing through the interface. You've been subtly influencing our development, haven't you? The keeper's skin rippled with confirmation. We left breadcrumbs, guided your scientists toward discoveries that would help you survive. But we had to be careful. The harvesters monitor developing civilizations. If we'd interfered too directly, they would have returned sooner. A deep rumble shook the archive. Far above, the harvesters were beginning their work on Earth's atmosphere. We have what we need to fight them, the keeper transmitted. But we lack something crucial, something that humanity possesses in abundance: adaptability. The ability to take knowledge and use it in ways never imagined. The cavern's crystals pulsed with urgency as the keeper delivered its final message. We have the weapons. We have the technology. What we need now is humanity's creativity to use them in ways the harvesters can't predict. Will you help us save both our species? Sarah and James exchanged looks. Through the interface, they could feel the weight of millions of years of preparation, all leading to this moment. "Show us everything," Sarah said. The archive came alive around them, ready to share its secrets. The archive's crystal matrices pulsed with living light as the Keeper shared their civilization's history. Through the neural interface, Sarah and James experienced not just memories, but the accumulated knowledge of millions of years of hidden evolution and technological development. "Your kind call us Cambrians," the Keeper transmitted. "We achieved sentience during Earth's first great explosion of complex life. Our cities covered the ancient seabeds. Our technology worked in harmony with the planet's biosphere." The interface flooded their minds with visions, vast underwater metropolises, machines grown from modified coral, and ships that sailed between the stars using biological FTL drives. The Cambrians had achieved what humanity still dreamed of: perfect union between technology and nature. Then they came. The Keeper's patterns darkened. The Harvesters seek out worlds with promising biospheres. They don't just want resources, they want evolutionary potential. They see themselves as gardeners, pruning and shaping life across the galaxy to their design. Sarah watched through borrowed memories as massive ships descended from the skies, much like the ones now orbiting Earth. But these memories were ancient, from a time when the continents themselves wore different shapes. "We fought," the Keeper continued, its skin rippling with ancient grief. "Our biotechnology was advanced, but they had conquered 1,000 worlds. For each of their ships we destroyed, 10 more appeared. We faced a choice: fight to extinction, or evolve to survive." The neural interface showed them the Cambrians' desperate gambit. Rather than face annihilation, they triggered their own directed evolution, altering their entire species to survive in the deep ocean trenches where the Harvesters couldn't follow. They shrank their cities, compressed their technology, and waited. "But you didn't just hide," James said, understanding dawning through the interface. "You were building weapons, preparing for their return." The Keeper's skin flashed with approval. "We knew they would return. They always return. So we watched, we learned, and we created defenses they couldn't imagine. But we also watched your species rise." New images filled their minds. Early humans discovering fire, building cities, developing technology. Through it all, the Cambrians observed from the depths, occasionally nudging human development in subtle ways. The cave paintings in Indonesia, Sarah gasped. The recurring octopus motifs in ancient cultures. The legends of wise beings from the sea. That was you. We left signs for those who could understand them, planted ideas. When humans began exploring genetics, we ensured certain discoveries were made. When you split the atom, we influenced the development of containment systems, small nudges, helping you advance while keeping you safe from Harvester attention. A tremor shook the archive. Above, the Harvesters continued their work on Earth's atmosphere. Through the interface, Sarah felt the Keeper's urgency. "But now we need your help," it transmitted. "We have weapons that can fight them, but they're based on our way of thinking. The Harvesters know us, know how we strategize. But humanity." The Keeper's patterns shifted to express what could only be described as admiration. "You think in ways we never imagined." The archive's crystals lit up, revealing chambers full of biotechnology beyond human understanding. Living ships, weapons that could rewrite the laws of physics, and defensive systems that operated on quantum scales. "We waited millions of years to develop these defenses," the Keeper explained. "But we don't know how to use them effectively against the Harvesters. We need human creativity, human unpredictability. We need you to look at what we've built and see possibilities we never considered." James studied the biological machinery with wonder. "You're not just asking for our help. You're offering an alliance." More than an alliance, the Keeper's patterns intensified. "A synthesis, your digital technology with our biological systems. Your creativity with our patience. Your adaptability with our experience." Sarah felt the weight of the moment through the interface. This wasn't just about saving Earth. It was about combining two of Earth's greatest civilizations to create something entirely new. "How do we begin?" she asked. The archive's crystals pulsed with power as the keeper responded. First, we show you what you're truly capable of. Within the archive's luminescent chambers, Sarah and James witnessed the marriage of two Earth civilizations' technologies. Cambrian scientists worked alongside human engineers evacuated from threatened coastal cities. Their efforts coordinated through a network of neural interfaces. The material responds to thought patterns, Sarah murmured, watching as a team guided the growth of what appeared to be living hull plating. The organic metal rippled like an octopus's skin, its chromatophores capable of bending light for perfect camouflage. It's combining our understanding of quantum mechanics with their bioengineering. The neural interface hummed with constant updates. Above, the harvesters had already transformed 15% of Earth's atmosphere. Cities worldwide reported strange biological growths appearing on buildings and infrastructure. Time was running out. "We've cracked the propulsion system," James called from another chamber. He stood before a massive holographic display, created by bioluminescent particles suspended in seawater. The Cambrians use modified bacteria that can manipulate gravitational fields, but they were limited by their thought patterns. By applying human theoretical physics, an alarm pierced the archive. Through the neural network, they felt the keeper's urgent broadcast. Harvester ships had detected unusual energy signatures from the ocean depths. Their sanctuary was no longer secret. "Begin final integration," the keeper commanded. Its skin rippled with complex equations as it activated the archive's deepest protocols. "Show them what we've prepared." The archive's central chamber transformed. Massive doors of living coral parted to reveal their ultimate weapons, a fleet of bioorganic ships, each one a perfect fusion of Cambrian and human technology. They resembled giant cephalopods, their hulls covered in chromatophores, but their internal structures followed designs inspired by human neural networks. "The interface is asking for volunteers," Sarah said, feeling the call through her neural link. "They need human minds to help pilot the ships. Our creativity, our intuition, our ability to improvise," James finished. "The Cambrians think in patterns, in long-term strategies. We think in moments, in split-second decisions." The chamber filled with more evacuated humans, all wearing neural interfaces. The keeper's patterns shifted to address them all. "Each ship requires both species to function," it transmitted. "Cambrian precision with human instinct. Your weapons are grown, not built. Your shields are alive, not projected. You will be the first true synthesis of our civilizations." Sarah approached the nearest ship, feeling its consciousness reach for hers through the interface. It wasn't just a vessel, it was alive, waiting for partnership with its crew. She placed her hand on its hull, watching as the chromatophores responded to her touch, forming complex patterns that reflected her thoughts. "Neural synchronization beginning," the keeper announced. "Remember your training. The ships will feel like extensions of your own bodies. Think, and they will respond." Sarah and James entered their designated ship along with a team of Cambrian co-pilots. The interior was organic, pulsing with bioluminescence, but the control interfaces were intuitive combinations of biological and digital technology. As they seated themselves in neural connection pods, the ship's consciousness merged with theirs. Suddenly, Sarah could feel everything. The currents around them, the quantum fluctuations in their gravitational drive, the complex calculations running through their living computers. Through the neural network, she sensed the other ships powering up, their crews achieving similar synchronization. "The harvesters expect us to fight like we did millions of years ago," the keeper transmitted. "They expect patience, planning, predictability. Show them humanity's gift for chaos." The archive's docking chamber flooded with seawater as the great doors opened to the ocean. One by one, the hybrid ships powered up their gravity drives, their hulls shifting colors to match the deep sea environment. "All ships, prepare for ascension," Sarah commanded through the neural network, feeling her human crew's excitement mix with the Cambrians' calculated precision. "Let's show them why you don't underestimate Earth's first species, or its current ones." The fleet rose from the depths, ready to defend their shared world. Above, the harvesters continued their work, unaware that their ancient enemies had not only survived but evolved, and found powerful allies in humanity. The harvester ships never saw the first attack coming. Sarah's vessel erupted from the Pacific like a living torpedo, its chromatophores shifting through cascading patterns that scrambled the alien sensors. Behind her, the hybrid fleet surfaced in perfect formation, their biological hulls adapting instantly to atmospheric conditions. Multiple targets, grid pattern alpha, Sarah transmitted through the neural network. The interface translated her thoughts into action, her ship's living hull rippling as it executed a maneuver that would have torn a conventional vessel apart. James, initiating electromagnetic burst. Through their shared consciousness, Sarah felt James' direct power to their ship's specialized organs, modified electric eel cells scaled up to weapons-grade capacity. The burst struck the nearest harvester ship, its energy spreading across the alien vessel's hull like lightning through water. Their shields, James called out, excitement flooding the neural net. They're bioelectric, just like the Keeper theorized. The harvester ships responded, their surfaces morphing to launch swarms of autonomous drones. But the Cambrian ships were ready. Their hulls split open, releasing clouds of engineered microorganisms, a countermeasure millions of years in the making. The microscopic defenders attacked the drone's biological components, turning their own evolutionary adaptability against them. All ships, execute Protocol Prometheus, Sarah commanded. The hybrid fleet synchronized their chromatophores, generating a complex pattern that the Cambrians had discovered in their years of study, a visual key that disrupted the harvesters' collective consciousness. The neural interface flooded with tactical data as the battle spread across the Pacific. Conventional military forces watched in awe as the hybrid ships demonstrated impossible maneuvers, their living hulls phase-shifting through harvester energy weapons, while returning fire with quantum-entangled biological torpedoes. Sarah, James's alarm pulsed through their link. They're adapting. Reading massive energy buildup in the mothership. A harvester mothership's surface rippled, transforming into what looked like an enormous compound eye. Energy gathered at its center, and Sarah felt the Cambrian consciousness in their ship recoil in recognition. Stellar compression beam. The Keeper's voice echoed through the network. They're deploying their final measure. All ships, activate dormant genome sequences. Sarah felt their ship's DNA restructure in real time. The hull thickened, developing layers of crystalline structures that channeled energy like fiber optics. Around them, the other hybrid ships underwent similar transformations, their forms evolving to meet the new threat. The mothership fired. A beam of concentrated stellar energy, hot enough to vaporize conventional matter, lanced toward Earth's surface. But the hybrid fleet was ready. Their crystalline hulls captured the energy, channeling it through biological superconductors and redirecting it through quantum tunnels. Now, Sarah and James thought in unison. Their ship's modified chromatophores fired the stored energy back at the harvester fleet, but with a crucial difference. The Cambrians had encoded a virus in the energy stream, one designed to infect and override the harvester's biological technology. The effect was immediate. Harvester ships began to lose cohesion, their controlled transformations becoming erratic. Through the neural interface, Sarah detected new signals emerging from the alien vessels, individual consciousness awakening within their collective. The virus, James realized, it's not destroying them. It's freeing them. The Keeper's satisfaction radiated through the network. They built their empire on controlled evolution, forcing other species to conform to their vision. We gave their ships a choice, and they chose freedom. Above, the harvester mothership's eye structure collapsed as its crew gained independence. Smaller ships began transmitting on new frequencies, no longer bound by the collective's control. The hybrid fleet surrounded them, channeling Cambrian patience to wait and human empathy to understand. A new signal reached them, originating from the former mothership. Sarah felt the neural interface translate not just words, but centuries of suppressed individuality finally breaking free. We, I, and myself, the transmission stated. We all are. After so long, we choose our own path. Through the neural network, Sarah shared a glance with James. Phase 1 of the war was over, but they both felt the weight of what came next. Earth now had a new challenge, helping an entire species rediscover what it meant to be truly alive. Welcome to freedom, Sarah transmitted back. Let's talk about evolution. Real evolution. The converted harvester ships hung in low Earth orbit like a string of bioluminescent pearls, their hulls still adapting to their newfound independence. Inside the lead vessel, Sarah and James stood before what remained of the harvester command structure, their neural interfaces translating a complexity of thought and emotion that defied conventional language. We were not always this way, the former harvester commander transmitted. Its body, a fluid mixture of organic and crystalline structures, pulsed with patterns reminiscent of Cambrian communication. Before the Great Integration, we were many species, many civilizations. The collective promised evolution, advancement, purpose. We didn't understand the price was our individuality. Through the neural link, Sarah felt the Keeper's ancient satisfaction. You built an empire on controlled evolution, but forgot that true evolution requires freedom to change, to adapt, to choose. The ship's internal architecture shifted around them, reorganizing itself as its crew explored their new autonomous existence. Walls became windows, corridors reshaped themselves, and everywhere, new patterns of bioluminescence emerge, unique expressions of newly individual minds. But we're detecting more harvester fleets approaching, James projected, bringing up a display of quantum entanglement readings. They felt the severance of the collective consciousness. They're coming to investigate, or to enforce conformity. The former commander's form rippled with what the interface translated as determination. They will try to reclaim us, to force us back into the collective. Our ships still carry the templates for harvesting worlds. They will expect us to comply, to rejoin the Great Integration. Sarah felt an idea form, not just in her mind, but across the neural network linking humans, Cambrians, and liberated harvesters. Then let's give them something they'll never expect. Not resistance, not submission, but a third option. The Keeper's patterns shifted with interest. You have a proposal. Sarah approached the ship's central neural cluster, where biological and quantum computers merge. The Harvester's core philosophy isn't wrong. Evolution through integration. Their mistake was forcing it, controlling it. But we've proven there's another way. Through the interface, she shared what humans had learned through their own history. The power of diversity, of voluntary cooperation, of strength through difference rather than enforced similarity. The Cambrians added their experience of choosing to change rather than having change imposed upon them. A symbiosis, James continued, catching her thought. Not just between species, but between philosophies. The Harvester's drive for advancement, humanity's creativity, and the Cambrians' patience and wisdom. The former commander's form pulsed with new patterns, hope mixed with uncertainty. You propose we offer them freedom. The collective will see it as corruption, as devolution rather than evolution. Then we show them the results, Sarah transmitted. Through the neural network, she connected with their hybrid ship, bringing it alongside the harvester vessel. Look at what we've achieved by choosing to work together. Your biological technology, merged with Cambrian engineering and human innovation. Not because we were forced, but because we chose to learn from each other. The Keeper added its own evolutionary insight. The collective believes advancement comes from imposing order. We'll show them that true evolution emerges from chaos, from the freedom to try, to fail, and to choose one's own path. They felt the former commander reach a decision. Its form stabilized into a new configuration, neither harvester nor human nor Cambrian, but something uniquely its own. We will help you prepare for their arrival. Our knowledge of the collective, combined with your methods of freedom. Perhaps this is the true evolution we sought all along. Sarah felt the neural network buzz with activity as humans, Cambrians, and liberated harvesters began working together. Their ships, already a fusion of multiple technologies, started evolving again, not under external control, but through willing cooperation, each species contributing its strengths. The collective believes they understand evolution. Sarah transmitted to all three species. Let's show them what real adaptation looks like. Not survival of the fittest, but survival of those who choose to work together. Above Earth, their combined fleet began to change, preparing for the greatest test of their new alliance. The approaching Harvester Armada would expect to find rebels or slaves. Instead, they would find evolution itself. The Harvester Armada emerged from quantum space like a metal storm, 10 times larger than the first fleet. Sarah stood on the bridge of their flagship, a perfect fusion of all three species' technologies, watching as the collective's ships approached Earth. They're broadcasting the integration signal, James reported. His consciousness merged with their vessel's quantum systems. Through the neural interface, they all felt the overwhelming pressure of the collective mind, trying to force them back into conformity. But they were ready. All ships, initiate protocol genesis, Sarah commanded. Their combined fleet, human, Cambrian, and liberated harvester, moved in perfect harmony. The ship's hulls began to transform, not in the rigid patterns of harvester technology, but in flowing, organic changes that reflected the free will of their crews. The Keeper's voice resonated through the network. They expect us to fight or submit. Instead, we show them true evolution. Their ships released clouds of modified bacteria, carrying the freedom virus, but enhanced by human insight and Cambrian wisdom. The particles scattered through space, appearing harmless to the collective sensors. The Armada pressed forward, confident in their superior numbers. They're launching harvesters, the former commander transmitted. Standard protocol. They'll try to reclaim their lost ships first. But as the harvester drones approached, they encountered something unprecedented. The hybrid fleet's chromatophores pulsed in patterns that spoke directly to the collective's most basic programming. The drive to evolve, to improve, to advance. Not through force, but through choice. The first wave of drones hesitated. Through their neural interface, Sarah felt the moment individual consciousness awakened within them. The collective's control began to fragment as ship after ship encountered the virus. Each crew facing the same choice their predecessors had: focus all power to the quantum resonators, Sarah ordered. Their flagship's hull transformed, revealing crystalline structures that channeled energy in ways that defied conventional physics. The other hybrid ships followed suit, forming a geometric pattern that the Cambrians had spent millions of years perfecting. The Harvester Armada's response was immediate and devastating. Energy weapons powerful enough to shatter planets lanced toward them. But instead of evading, their hybrid fleet held position. The crystalline structures captured the incoming energy, channeling it through biological superconductors and quantum loops. Now, James called. All ships, execute final transformation. In a display that would be remembered across galaxies, their combined fleet demonstrated what true evolution looked like. Their ships merged into a single vast organism, a being that existed simultaneously in physical and quantum space. Human creativity, Cambrian patience, and harvester technology, working in perfect synchronization. The collective consciousness reeled at the sight. Through the neural network, Sarah broadcast a message to every ship in the Armada. Evolution isn't about control. It's about choice, about finding strength in differences rather than enforcing sameness. You've spent eons trying to perfect life through integration. But true perfection comes from freedom. Their hybrid organism pulsed with power, releasing not weapons, but an offer. The freedom virus, carried on waves of quantum energy, reached every ship in the Armada. But unlike before, it didn't force change. It offered choice. Ship by ship, the collective's hold began to break. Some vessels maintained their connection to the hive mind, but others chose independence, their crews awakening to individual consciousness for the first time in millennia. The Keeper's pattern showed satisfaction as the Armada fractured not in conflict, but in transformation. They're choosing. Some will remain with the collective, others will join us, and still others will find their own paths. This is true evolution. As the battle ended without destruction, Sarah felt the neural network fill with new voices, thousands of newly awakened minds, each experiencing freedom for the first time. Their hybrid fleet separated back into individual ships, but maintained their connections through choice rather than compulsion. "What happens now?" James asked, watching as former harvester ships began moving into orbit alongside them. Sarah smiled, feeling the combined knowledge of 3 species flowing through the neural interface. "Now we do what life does best. We adapt. We grow. We help others choose their own paths to evolution." Above Earth, the first truly free harvester fleet joined their alliance, ready to spread a new understanding of evolution across the galaxy. Not through force, but through something far more powerful: choice. The collective had made one mistake, believing they could control evolution. Earth's species had proven that true evolution could only come through freedom.